Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes joins us now from Milwaukee. Lieutenant Governor, good morning. Thank you for being with us. I know you can't share specifics about the investigation into Jacob Blake's shooting, but what can you tell us about the actions that are being taken?
What I can tell you is that there is a thorough investigation going on. Thank you for even bringing this up. Thank you for giving this moment space. It's so important for the American people to realize what's going on. And I can honestly say that I know about as much as you know. I saw the same video that you all saw. I saw the same video that many Americans saw, and that's a person being shot in the back 7 times. I know that our State Department of Justice is carrying out this investigation as well, and I've intentionally stayed as far away from it as possible to avoid any sort of conflict. We need this to be done as thoroughly as possible.
When you saw that video, you wrote on Twitter, "You've got to be kidding me." I'm wondering, the officer who shot Jacob Blake, Rustin Shesky, was put on administrative leave. Do you believe he should be arrested?
Well, personally, I just don't see how anybody gets away with shooting somebody in the back 7 times, and I feel like administrative leave is sort of it doesn't fit the actions that we saw. And too often we see these repeated cycles. We see the same scene over and over again, where an unarmed person is shot and then they end up getting desk duty. And I don't think that's fair. Many people don't think that's fair as well. It just feels like, there's so much room for certain officers to make mistakes, but suspects cannot make the same mistakes without fear of losing their lives. Many people, again, who we see are unarmed, and Jacob Blake is now paralyzed. He won't be able to walk again, and the officer has desk duty. I don't think anybody thinks that that's fair right now. But we are waiting for this investigation to play out because it's important to find out all the facts. But we saw what we saw.
We just saw that Joe Biden was in Kenosha yesterday. President Trump was there a few days before. The governor asked both presidential candidates not to come for fear of inflaming things. Do you think in any way those visits were beneficial?
So I'll say that I joined the governor in admonishing the Trump visit because Trump is a person who has yet to condemn the teenage shooter who was transported across state lines and killed 2 people on our city streets. Donald Trump has done everything to create even more division, and he's virtually celebrated this person who has killed 2 people on our city streets and severely injured another. That's not what we need at this moment. Kenosha is a city that's healing. Our state is a state that is grappling with some racial tension and racial injustice, and Kenosha is ground zero for that right now. And after the protests, like, you see so many people who are coming together, who are uniting, who are deciding that this is the time for the city to do better, for the state to do better. And Donald Trump's visit it was one that sought to divide the city and the state even more because he's not performing well in the polls. This is a state that he won 4 years ago. And the only way that he's able to win is when people were divided. So I am glad to see that while Donald Trump was there was a beautiful celebration of community. You had kids out, you had family members out, you had people just having a great time enjoying themselves and getting to know one another. And Joe Biden's trip was all about listening. It was different. He didn't make incendiary remarks before he showed up to Wisconsin. He said that as a presidential candidate, he wanted to demonstrate the type of leadership that he would provide to this nation, and that started by listening, and that's exactly what he did. He didn't come here to spout off and say things that would tear this community further apart.
You recently spoke to Jacob Blake's family, Lieutenant Governor. What was their message?
So their message is one of hope. It's one of resilience. Their message is the Kenosha story. It's the Wisconsin story. It's one that, although there's so much hurt and pain, that they do believe that they're going to get through this, and they don't believe that not just them as a family, but us as a community. And that's one of the most amazing things about it. I hate so much that this family is going through all of this trouble, but they want things to get better, not just for Jacob Blake, but for everybody in Kenosha, everybody across this state, everybody across this country who is dealing with extreme injustice because they know that this is not the way. They know that this is not fair to communities that continue to be marginalized. And if we don't do something about it as leaders, as a community, as elected officials, as faith leaders, as business leaders, we're going to be far worse off than the worst examples of things. You look at this continued killing. Like after Jacob Blake was shot, we still lost 2 people on the street. 2 people lost their lives.
Yes.
And this is not any sort of way to carry on society.
Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, thank you so much for being with us this morning.